Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've reached the pinnacle of playing tank destroyers. So without further ado, let's find out what is the best tier 10 tank destroyer in the game with regards to win ratio difference. And would you believe it? It's the Italian tier 10 tank destroyer, the Minotauro. And just quickly, I'd like to give a mention. Object 268 version 4 even still nerfed in second place with regards to win ratio difference, and then the T110E3 after that, with the Jagdpanzer E100 really showing you that armor is just king inside World of Tanks. And you can have like big guns, you can have accurate guns, you can have autoloaders, all of this. But if you want to be influential and to impact your battles, to hopefully be wins for your team, then armor is important. But the Minotauro doesn't just have armor. One of the reasons why this vehicle is so darn strong is because effectively it just blurs the line between what a heavy tank and what a tank destroyer is. And so undoubtedly a vehicle that can play like a heavy tank is going to have an impact. If any of you played World of Tanks back in the day, you might remember when the matchmaker didn't actually meet heavy tanks up against heavy tanks. Sometimes a team would have 10 tank destroyers and sometimes a team would have 10 heavy tanks. Now, who do you think would win? Well, it's the team that had the most heavy tanks. Apart from on a few maps, maybe like Malinovka or Prokhorovka. But even still, heavy tanks are the play makers, and that is what makes the biggest difference inside World of Tanks. So accordingly, the team that has more heavy tanks will naturally win more of the battles. So what do you think when Wargaming release a vehicle that really, to all intents and purposes, it's a heavy tank inside a tank destroyer body? Now, I'm getting matched up against a T110E4, which is a fairly fair fight, but imagine if, for example, they'd had a Griller, another Griller on the enemy team, and he's got to play against a Minotauro. Now, whether Wargaming are going to try and adapt that with Matchmaker 2.0 to make all the heavy tank destroyers meet up against other heavy tank destroyers, we'll have to just wait and see what Wargaming find with all of their plans. However, even with that, you'd expect that the heavy tank destroyers are going to be more influential, as it has been for like 10 years pretty much. You are in the wrong neck of the woods, my friend, and you have got a one-way fiery trip back to the garage. That's unfortunate for you. We're just going to chill, hold this position, see if our enemies are going to push. Still a bit worried about the Object 268s. I've been playing a lot of Onslaught recently, and what Object 268s are able to do to you in Onslaught is pretty sickening. So yeah, kind of not looking forward to that. In other news, ladies and gents, something very important I must announce, and that is NVIDIA's current drivers are very finicky. One of the reasons why this video is being released today is that finally, after having a pre-order since the end of January to be able to get one of the new RTX 5090s, I'm very low numbers in the queue. So today on my day off, I decided to do the very relaxing thing, very relaxing thing. I'm going to go and update my graphics card drivers to be prepared for my new graphics card when it probably comes in the next few weeks. And I found out that NVIDIA is definitely not the king when it comes to consistency in drivers these days. I updated my drivers. Screen went black. I think they're overmatching right up into my vehicle, or maybe my lower plate there. Why don't I just drop back and go hold down against them, hopefully without getting hit by the Griller. So my screen went black. I tried to unplug one monitor to see if maybe it was a multiple monitor problem. Nope. And it looks like the new NVIDIA app, or whatever it's called these days, just didn't really install correctly. Had to put it into safe mode. Then after putting it into safe mode, I managed to uninstall the driver. Then tried to reinstall it and found out that it wasn't working anyway. So I rolled back the driver to what I had. So, yeah. Oh, that's a bit lucky. And a completely average roll there with my damage. So I'm glad I dropped back and actually went hold down against my opponents here when they were messing me up in my lower plate. Those pesky German tanks. So, word of advice for any of you out there, if you are thinking about updating your NVIDIA drivers and you're running a 40 series like I am currently, but with a 50 series imminent, I wouldn't recommend updating unless you're playing some brand new game. But let's be honest, we're all playing World of Tanks for the last 14 or so years, right? So, would not recommend updating drivers. unless you know what you're doing and you're able to then. And if any of you do update drivers and it goes black, don't panic. Enter safe mode. That will mean that it loads like the default driver. Then uninstall the driver, maybe using like a program like a program that will help you even to be able to uninstall the driver very cleanly. And then maybe try and reinstall it, or just I had to roll back after many hours lost. So yeah, apologies that today's video is a little bit late. You've got Nvidia's quality, their lack of consistency these days to thank for that. So the Minotauro, it's just one of those tanks where I can like just go autopilot in my brain and think about other things, right? While playing World of Tanks, because that's what you want. You want to have an autopilot game where you can think about other things when you're playing World of Tanks. Now, on my free-to-play account, I have something... by the way, I got my 3rd mark of excellence on this thing on my free-to-play account without using premium consumables. But I also have something stupidly obnoxious, like a 75% win rate on that account. The Minotauro is just that good. And once you get used to just driving into a position and being a brawler, or you get used to... Do you think the guy's right in the corner? He probably is. Or you just get used... Oh, no, he's up there. Oh, I'd love an extra shot, because I haven't had a very good game. Just one shot, please. Oh. Well, I've got an autoloader, so... No, never mind. So, as I was saying, you can kind of just, like, autopilot in this vehicle. But, once you get used to basically just driving into a position and just brawling with the heavies and changing the heavy fight, then the rest of the game usually, more often than not, will snowball. I guess bad Minotauro players will play it like a traditional tank destroyer, where they skulk around at the back of the map, and doing that will just be horrendous. You will definitely not be playing the tank to its strengths. The other thing that the Minotauro is good at, which hopefully I can show you in the video today, is just getting on a ridgeline and grinding out its opponents. And the flexibility that you have with the heat rounds, as I showed you, for when you're going against angled turrets that aren't particularly thick, but still thick enough so that you can't overmatch them. Perfect example is kind of like the 50, 60 millimeters that you'll have on those German tanks. Those heat rounds are just so proficient for being able to deal with them. Well, I'll talk about hold down. We have a great hold down opportunity here. The only downside is there's 2 sneaky artillery on the enemy team and 3 big boy TDs. So you know what? This is the perfect example to hopefully show you where the Minotauro will be better than the big gun tank destroyers on the enemy team. Although on a map like this, it could be a little bit unfortunate, because those big boy TDs, if they sit at the back and they just wait for us to push, it can get very ugly indeed. So the Minotauro, even though it's been nerfed, it hasn't really impacted how competitive this tank is in the game. Of course, having the weak points now means that you can't really just sit in front of everything and kind of just switch your brain off and just slowly grind them down. But the nerf to this vehicle, it hasn't really removed it from the top of the food chain. Oh my word, FB405 really wants to play. Hopefully he's not going to YOLO. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I guess he just didn't like the matchup. Let's just see if I can get this Kranvang still a little bit. Artie trying to get me? Not quite. So this is where 10 degrees of gun depression on this tank can be absolutely awesome. And a traversable turret means, again, you're pretty much a heavy tank. Don't really want to get caught in the side here by that guy or by the cheeky possible tank destroyers at the back, but it's life. I've got to try and commit a little bit. Have I spotted an Artie back there? Can I get him through this gap? Am I overcommitting right now? I think the answer is yes. We can kill the artillery later on. There's no stress. The ST1 has good armor though. So I guess that's really the only true downside to something like a Minotauro, is that your penetration is just not tier 10 tank destroyer. And so if you're expecting that you can be like a Jaegeru, where you can just auto-aim at the fronts of turrets, and even when you fire the gold rounds on this tank at 330, that's got worse pen than some heavy tanks at tier 10, right? So you still got to be a little bit careful. But honestly, this vehicle, if someone put a gun against my head and said you absolutely, utterly have to get the best win ratio in any tank destroyer at tier 10, it would be this one. It's just so consistent that you can even just kind of like relax a little bit and get a little bit nonchalant. So let me talk about the auto-loading mechanic on the Minotauro for all of you out there who have no idea what this vehicle is. So the crazy thing about the tank is it has a very long intra-clip reload. It's roughly the same as an E100 if it's not like set up to the max and it's using the 128mm. But what's crazy about the vehicle is that it has a very short magazine reload. The magazine reload, the base time on the magazine reload is going to be 24 seconds, which you will be able to improve with a premium consumable, vents and brothers in arms and that kind of thing. And so that also includes the 8 seconds intra-clip that the vehicle has as well, effectively to load that shell. And so when you add all of this together, it means that the Minotauro just doesn't really have the downtime that you'd expect. I gotta really watch out that I don't expose my lower plate to that FV405. Their arty is not really hunting me right now. I'm quite surprised about that. I should be the perfect tank for the artillery to try and focus right now. Well played to the T55A. He got me good. And now I'm low enough on hit points where the FV405 can start to contest me. I might have to load gold for this T55A. Whoa! That T55A is a gamer! Well played, my dude. Great player. Good stuff. Gold to the weak point on top. Looks like he hit just a pixel of it. And suddenly, I'm actually feeling a little bit vulnerable in this game. I'm not going to lie. Feeling very vulnerable in this game now, actually, with that T55A doing just great work, penning me 3 times. Respect where respect is due. I might have to load heat and go for his turret as well. I just noticed. It's me and these 3 players. I just have to basically bait them over a little bit. I think that's what the plan has to be right now. And they should get punished very heavily. Very heavily, I say. Very heavily. There's a first punish on the Leopard. There's a second punish on the Leopard. Can I get the FV405 at the back? This T55A, he's a gamer. There's a couple of gamer shells coming in for him. I gotta watch out for their artillery as well. If I get clubbed by the arty here, I'll lose this game. Okay, so my tactics have to be to just hold on, wait, try not to let the Kranvang flank me, see if the T55A will poke up in front of my tank destroyers. Just try, there he is. Oh, if my friends can just hit that T55A, if I try and bait him. Yeah, there we go, there we go. See if I'll bait him again. As soon as that T55A falls, I feel like then that's going to be good for me. Unfortunately, the T95 takes a big hit at the back. Okay, so let's just relax. I'm going to intuition switch to heat here, because I think that I could go through the turret front on the T55A with heat, but I just don't think I can with AP. Yeah, one of the cool things about this tank as well is because it's the intra-clip which has the long time, and it's not the actual reload, you can intuition switch. Apparently 5 shells in 4 seconds. Those are big shells as well. 530 alpha damage shells in 4 seconds. And that loader, he didn't skip his workouts, that's for sure. I wonder what this Kranvang's doing. Nice shot. Hopefully that means that artillery can finish him off. Come on, arty. Make it rain, please. Okay. I think my arty should be able to deal with him with that beautiful shell. Yes! Perfect. Now we've got this T55A being a little bit cheeky. Got a really good shot in there. I have to respect this T55A. He's doing a very good job. He's an aggressive player as well. I can tell he's a good player just with the harassment that he's doing here. He's doing a great job. He actually probably deserves to win this. I feel like he's outplayed me here. But, what he deserves and what he will achieve will probably be, well, hopefully be 2 different things for me. Okay, someone's in the cap. I want to just... The thing is, the reason why I'm staying over here is because it makes me less vulnerable to the artillery. Talk about being vulnerable to arty. Looks like he's getting spotted by the T55A or someone in the center. Or maybe someone from over there. Okay, if the artillery on reload, I feel like I've got to have a go at this T55A. He's probably spotting from this bush or something. Get wrecked, friend. Get wrecked, friend. And that, ladies and gentlemen, blows this game wide open for me now. Now I can work this ridge, Maybe I can go towards the cap circle, try and catch like a T-55. Catch, not the T-55, he's definitely in my brain, rent-free right now. Maybe try and get the FE-405. I guess I could go down into the town. It's a little bit risky though, and I feel like if I give up this ridge, it could be very ugly for my team. But I feel like I got to try and make it work. We've got a Bat Chat there. We've got a Centurion Action 10 there. We just got to give it a go. See how this goes. What is it likely to be? I can pretty much overmatch everything with AP here. If it's an FE-405, I might need heat, but there's so many walls I don't really want to... Oh no, the Bat Chat's low on health. I was thinking this game was safe for a second. It's definitely not safe, that's for sure. We've got an FE-405 up there. I'm just going to mark the map because sometimes it's more useful to just have an indication of where he might be there. So this guy's probably on the other side of that building. There's probably a Bat Chat and a WTF Panzer IV on the other side there. He's actually left the cap circle, which is very interesting. Oh, there's the FE. That's the guy I need heat for. So I'm actually going to switch to heat here. Never mind, switch back to AP. That's the last tank on the enemy team that I need that for. I could probably get away with HE against the Bat Chat because this thing's got 130 HE pen for some unknown reason. Alright, well I can't poke the FE-405 up north. I think what I got to do is maybe just pressure the cap and force them to come at us. That guy's clearly been spotted, probably by a WTF Panzer IV over there, I'd say. That's where I'd say the WTF. Oh, hello. Nice shot. That was a lazy shot, though. My bad. Lazy shot. Lazy shot. For the game. There we go. I'm going to switch to HE now. Oh, no. That was a misplay. Oh, I shouldn't have left the cap circle there. That was just a knee-jerk reaction because I thought the WTF Panzer IV could get me. My bad. I should have stayed in the cap there. Okay, let's wait till I'm no longer spotted and then I'll try and put some view range out for my team. Probably should just cap this one, but QuickyBaby wants something special, so I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to be greedy, guys. Will this come back to haunt me? Looks like somebody else wants to be greedy as well. They've left the cap circle as well. Oh god, was this just the ultra greed? Was just this the ultra greed, boys and girls? I think this might have been ultra greed. Why did you just decap? I actually agree with him. I think this was the ultra greedy baby right now. Although, to be fair, that's pretty devastating for that guy. The Bat Chat's on my side. Got him. Got him. You know, I got to put a challenge out for the Minotauro, right? If I'm playing the best tier 10 tank destroyer, it's a tank that I get like over 70% win solo in on my free-to-play account. I 3-marked it on my free-to-play account even without premium consumables. You know, I'm on my main now, right? Oh, baby, this HE shells could be painful for you. Yeah. They're all getting clubbed. Very nice. Very nice, I say. That guy gonna reload in time? He is. So the Minotauro. What an absolute chat of a tank. Wow, our artillery has actually lost in battle. Looks like he just left. And there you have it. That was 7,200 combined, pretty much. Something like that. 7,200, 7,300. And what I showed you is just the Minotauro can just do everything. It can work a ridge line. It can brawl those heavies. Just a great game. Nice ace tanker there live for YouTube without the benefit of cherry-picking games in the Minotauro. I really don't know what more there is to say. My main account doesn't actually have that good stats in the Minotauro. Only 65% win solo. My combines are starting to get better. Is that 4,600 combined? Woo! Yeah, that's starting to get better. On my free-to-play account, I feel like I play better considering that I don't have the premium consumable. I don't really know what there is more to say. I guess the only reason why this vehicle isn't more popular inside the matchmaker is because I guess it's a little boring. You know? When you take a tank and you take away all of the excitement of an autoloader to kind of blur it in with the equivalent of more of like a single shot, because it's got such an long intra-clip reload. It doesn't even have special alpha, that it never truly feels like it's an awesome burst damage tank destroyer. And then you kind of give it a semi-turret, so it never feels like it has the full flexibility of a heavy. And then you make it relatively slow with a top speed of 30, although, you know, with a Bond Turbo and Engineer, you can get that up to 37, which isn't particularly slow. So I guess that's why this vehicle isn't more popular, because honestly, it should be. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, it really should be. It should be super popular. This tank should be super popular. And the fact that it's not, I think, is just because a lot of people find it quite boring to play. So can you believe that boring in World of Tanks is actually kind of the best? Who would have thought that boring is the best, at least with regards to adding to your win ratio difference by playing a tank destroyer? But would you argue then that it's probably because of the fact that it has heavy tank-like gameplay? I was wondering if that was the same T-55A there for a second, but it doesn't look like it is. So I'm not sure if somebody would say that heavy tanks are boring, but definitely a tank destroyer that is like a heavy tank could be argued to be, I guess. Quite profound when you think about it like that. Quite profound, Mr. QuickyBabs. Yeah, you know, you've got to find something to be interested in. At this blooming late hour on a Thursday. Thank you, NVIDIA. NVIDIA's got a real problem on their hands there, because one of the reasons why everyone always picks, mostly everyone picks NVIDIA is because of their consistency. But, you know, they've had issues with their power connectors. I've had my first issues with drivers now. By the way, full mag, 2,600. Why am I so red today? It's not because I've been in the sun so much. It's because I guess it's that, like, awkward period. Also, my hair's very puffy today. That's impressive. I've obviously got some serious bedhead, you know. Just had 2 days off and feeling quite relaxed right now. Is that the reasoning we can give for it? You gonna rush me? Quite surprised I bounced there. Oh, this is bad. You know what? Big respect to this 430U with what he's done here. It's exactly what he should have done. Harass me. Oh, you know one thing that's interesting about this tank is that even if you get stunned by artillery, it doesn't particularly matter because it doesn't change your intra-clip. I mean, it matters if it matters when it comes to you getting flanked by your opponents. But other tanks that don't have intra-clip autoloaders like this, when they get stunned by artillery, they have like a 25% longer reload. This thing, it keeps going with an 8-second intra, although it's going to have bad accuracy and bad aim time, and as we could see there, bad traverse speed. But yeah, it just keeps going, which is another one of the strengths. And would you believe that? Like, ability to counter artillery stuns. One of the best things about the Minotauro. So we managed to do 5,200 combined before. Well played to the 430U for overwhelming me. Because you know what? If they didn't, and they just let me keep farming them there one by one, I would have farmed all of them. Only thing I didn't like about this game was that one missed shot on the 430U, and it definitely came back to haunt me. If I didn't miss that 430U, I would have probably been able to deal with the 257, and then who knows, maybe I could have been able to get the 1390 as well. But well played to the 1390 for coming in. Interestingly, the 1390 was actually using the Bat Chatillon gun. He wasn't using the 240 alpha damage gun, which was useful because it meant he had a smaller mag, but it also meant that he reloaded quicker than I anticipated. Not that it really would have changed much, apart from maybe the 257 dying. So, all in all, the Minotauro, what do I think about it? It's the best tank destroyer in the game, bar none. It's the ultimate tank destroyer in World of Tanks, if what you care about is winning your battles. However, it's boring. So, whether you want to play it or not is going to be down to you and how you feel about your tanks and why you play your tanks, you know? Just because something is good doesn't necessarily mean that it's fun. Quite often people aren't just playing purely to win inside the game. And no, I don't mean people are playing for fun, but people aren't always playing the ultra sweaty meta picks only playing with their best friends, only playing with their bond equipment, only playing with their premium consumables. But if you're a power gamer who is results orientated, have a go in the Minotauro. But let me clarify, a lot of people might play the Minotauro and think, well, why isn't this working for me? And let me clarify, it's all about the aggression. It's all about making those fights happen. It's all about taking the fight to the enemy team while the game is winnable, and sometimes just letting the chips fall where they may with the vehicle as well. If you're not willing to be aggressive, if you're not willing to take the fight to the enemy team, then... and also to take those risks, because the armor on the tank, it doesn't matter what's shooting at it, quite often everything is going to ricochet off it. And when the Minotauro does get those ricochets, then it can really start to apply the pressure. So what I'm saying is be a little bit stupid. It's a little bit like the 430U in a way, where if you try to play it very intelligently, you're not going to be playing to the vehicle's strengths. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Hopefully 3 wins in the Minotauro and an ace tanker, showing you exactly what this tank is all about. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments what you think about the Minotauro and whether you would consider it to be the ultimate tank destroyer inside World of Tanks. Or do you think that the fact that it's blurring the lines between a tank destroyer and a heavy means that how can it really be the ultimate tank destroyer when it's not traditional, right? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon. And luckily, it was! The team managed to hold on and get that victory just by defending. So GG, well played to my team for holding on as long as they did and surviving the onslaught of the enemy team, because I certainly didn't when they all rushed me at the same time. And well played to the enemy team for doing so, because that's exactly what you should do to the Minotauro. I died 2 minutes into a 10-minute round. Yeah, I'm number 1 on experience, and I'm number 1 on damage as well. And that, ladies and gents, boys and girls, is what the Minotauro is all about, with that 5,000 combined session with 2.33 kills per game and 100% wins.